Peace and blessings, family. It's your boy Gerald. It is Saturday, the 25th, August 2019. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. If it looks like a long day, no, I just woke up. I've actually beat the sun up because it's only 10 after 6 in the morning. And doing my laundry as well as just let the boys out so they can use the bathroom and have their morning breakfast. So I felt, of course, got this. You know, come on now. I woke up this morning, fam. With words on my spirit that I know divinely was timed for me to hear it, and I'm going to share this with you. I can't take credit for it because even though I can relate, I know you'll relate. That's what God does. That is why He is the great I Am, the Most High, the one of many names. That is why man will never know His true name, because we cannot cognitively understand it because it's so great. So we must find humility in ourselves to respect it. Now, the other day, it may have been yesterday. It was yesterday. Yesterday, I had a very long day, and I imagine you did. And first of all, celebrate your weekend. You made it. You navigated through your week. You sidestepped the negativity as best as you could. And it's a weekend. It's the time that you're supposed to rest, reflect, prepare, by way of processing and understanding where you've been, so you can definitely be calculated and understand what is needed for where you're going. So, with that being said, just like you, responsibilities. This has been a big week. Had a lot of things transpire. Sent a loved one off to college. First year freshman, about to start that dorm life and introduce themselves to themselves by way of education. But not to lose my point. So while I was out and about, I happened to have the radio on, and as you guys know, I am my first love is to God. My second love is to music. And it doesn't matter what kind of music, as long as it is good music. I've never been the type of person that has been locked into one genre. You know, if a classic is a classic, because what defines a classic is the fact that it moves you without time. That means you can listen to it 10 years ago and turn it on today, and it still sounds like the first time you heard it, and it moves you to feel a certain way. But had the radio on, and just so happened it was on a channel that was airing the Steve Harvey channel, the Steve Harvey Show. So as I'm out and about with my checklist, gotta bear with me, I did a lot of things and in my time, because it is about time management. But let's get to the meat and potatoes of this video. And this video is about the power of words and how words have more impact than its formation. It is about the frequency. And you'll see what I mean when I explain it to you. Now, to go back to what I was saying, I happen to have the Steve Harvey channel, the Steve Harvey Morning Show on. And for those who have listened to his program, you know, the two most impactful times in his show is when he comes on air and when he ends his show. So yesterday, they were doing their program, and Steve Harvey was chiming in because for a lot of people, a lot of times people know that he'll do his show either where he's at, if he's home, the man's got it set up so that he can do his show live feed from his house, or he can set it up so that wherever he is, he can still contribute on air. Now, that's the backdrop. So, I didn't get to hear the morning comments, didn't. But as I was running around yesterday, had a lot to, these last, actually, ever since Wednesday, I've been ripping and running. And, God is amazing, because you'd be surprised where he will take you when he needs to move you. And as I've got it in the background of the Jeep, right? And I'm moving around, doing what I need to do. And I hear him say in one of the segments, he said, listen, I got something to share that I wanted to talk about in the beginning, but I couldn't do it justice. So I'm definitely going to mention it on the end of the show. Now, for those who know me, you guys know I've been putting videos out almost 6 years. And I listen to people just like you, and you may relate to something, because it is about, the human dynamic is nothing but a commonality of experience. Something that you may experience may not be something that someone can relate to. But then there's always that parallel. So as I'm going through my day, I hear him make that comment. I don't pay nothing. I don't really pay too much attention to that, but I hear him say it. So I'm ripping and running. And just to give you a backdrop, within 3 hours, within 5 hours, because I started my day, you know me, I start my day early. It's 6:15 now. The first thing I had to do is take care of home first. Second thing I had to do, I had to go to the barbershop, because the little guy got to go get his hair cut. Third thing I did was I had to go get brakes on my Jeep. It's time. Third thing I had to do was I had to go to the location that had my firearm. Yeah, I told you I was going to do that. And I had to go pick it up. And while I was ripping and running, now this is time going by, still enough time that every time I got back in that vehicle, the show was still on. Now, the show was only slated for 4 hours, fam. 4 hours. And I done moved all over Virginia Beach in some way or form. So, when it goes to going in there to get my little guy's haircut, knock that out. Then, from there, I run over to go get my brakes done. That takes some time. Get that done. Then, when I'm leaving, I go back to pick up my firearm. It's discovered right then, which it really wasn't discovered. I had been kind of waiting for a minute, because for some of you who may not know, and I'm going to get to my point, but I'm setting the backdrop up. When I went to go get my firearm, you know, there's a piece of paper that you have to sign from the seller, the dealer, for transfer. And the first thing they do, well, the 3 steps they do for if you're going to buy new is they're going to do a background check. Second thing they're going to do is how you're going to pay for it. Some locations allow you to do layaway. I preferred to do layaway because I didn't have a desire to bring it home right then and there. I could have, but I didn't. There was no need. Third was the transfer paper. Now, doing the transfer paperwork, first thing they do, after they ran your stuff, they're going to run your stuff again. But they have to make sure that all your documentation marries up. And I'd already applied for my concealed carry. Like, oh yes, I did. I got a concealed carry coming on the way. As a matter of fact, it'll be here next week. And the dealer was like, hey, your driver's license does not match the documentation that you originally sent, which was correct, because I had moved prior to that, and this is before I got here. And then your driver's license is good for 5 years, and my thing was, I didn't feel like updating my license at the time because I have a CDL as well. But now, because it's law, you got the real ID. Now, let me throw that out there too. October 2020, family, TSA is tightening up the reins in regards to how you're going to travel by air. And it's going to require you a real ID. The days of just using your driver's license as a secondary means of identification to fly, it's not going to happen no more. It's not happening. And on top of that, if by chance you work for the federal government, they're clamping that down too. And if you don't update your driver's license, you're not going to be able to get into federal buildings or federal installations. So you got till October 2020 to get it done. Now, let me throw that out there. So there I am. Weapons paid, firearm. They're going to go get it. Buy rounds, practice rounds, as well as the regular rounds I need. The FMJs, full metal jackets. So I buy all that. And they said, well, look here. We can't release this until you update your driver's license. Now, I already knew that was an emotional trigger, because that was something that I did not want to do. Not that I was refusing to do it. I knew that it was going to cost me time, because guess what? You can do it one of two ways. You can do it through DMV, or you can go and do it in person, because still some locations will update your driver's license right there on the spot and generate your new one, and you can walk out with your driver's license in hand after they've processed it. Well, Gerald didn't want to do that, so Gerald waited. So it comes full circle, because now I've got to update my driver's license, which means I have to allocate time to DMV. And what do you think happened when I got to DMV? Try to be smart. Went and got all my documentation, because I said, well, hell, if I'm going to go ahead and update my driver's license, I might as well go ahead and get the real ID too, which requires your social security card, or a passport, proof of residency, and of course the standard 2 bills. Well, Geraldine had, or a birth certificate. Well, I didn't have access to my birth certificate. I got it, but it's somewhere in the house. I didn't feel like tearing it up. So, brought my social security number, social security card, which means I got to get a new one because it's all beat up. And you can use a copy of your W-2 tax forms. So you're gonna need 5 pieces of material to update that. Now, if you already got your passport, you're good to go. You can just go down there to the DMV with that proof of residency, because you're already in the system because you got a passport, and they'll process it, and it'll be like $35 to do. Well, didn't know that part. Thought I had my I's dotted, T's crossed. Couldn't do it. But I still was able to update my driver's license because I've got a CDL. I'm also a veteran. I'm also a federal employee. So I've got to get all these endorsements on that ID. So I still got to turn around and get that real ID by October. But I'm not going to delay that. I'm going to go ahead and take care of that process probably in a couple weeks now, because I'm going to go ahead and update my passport, renew it. Point I'm trying to make is, these were all triggers. These were all scenarios of time that if I did not allow myself to maneuver through it, it would have distracted me and threw my day off. It's probably hot where you're at. You know, people can't drive. And then, God forbid, if it's on a payday weekend, they really can't drive. Now, add changes of weather with storms and stuff. It makes a gumbo of frustration if you're not grounded. Okay, you got all that? You got all that? Got to digest it? Well, a little bit. Now, watch this. So, after this time, I don't know what I was doing, but still, I was able to hear the Steve Harvey show. You know, Steve Harvey goes off the air at 10, but I had it on, and I was still able to hear it after the fact. Now that right there is going to scratch your head. It goes off at 10, but you still hear it. Right? But then I realized something. After the fact. Because this is what I heard. So Steve, he gets on there. And this is when he's doing the closing remarks, as he always does. No matter if you don't like him, if you do, you know, you can look at his life and see progression from his beginnings to his plateaus to where he is today. And at a minimum, you can say, you know what? If he can do it, what's keeping me from doing it? So, I'm listening. And he says the following. And this is going to tie into this video. You guys have been patient enough to wait for me to get my point. And I know that. I appreciate it. Like now, get it to the point, Gerald. I'm getting to the point. So, he gets on there. He's kind of somber. He said, listen, I can't take credit for this. But somehow, I got it. And when I got it, I really got it. And so, co-host, I'm going to say it was Shirley Strawberry. She turns around and said, "What do you mean, Steve?" He said, "Listen to this poem." And he says, "I wish I knew who wrote it, because I would give them a hug and shake their hand, because everybody can relate when they're ready to relate." And he said, "I asked God for comfort, and God gave me discomfort. I asked God to be loved, and God gave me people with problems. I asked God for courage, and God gave me things to challenge me. I asked God for appreciation, and He gave me people that had no value." And he says, all these things I asked God to give me, and He gave me the opposite. But in the end, He didn't give me what I wanted. He gave me what I needed. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Because everybody goes through those examples in some form. From what is obvious, what is hidden in plain sight, what is found, what you may deem rationally as by chance. It is all there. It's always been there. So I let that sit there in the back of my mind. So last night, yesterday evening, his show comes on, because it's over now, but the last episodes are playing. I think maybe next week is the last week of his show. And there was a segment where, he does the Ask Steve part. And then this young, beautiful lady stood up. She said, there was two of them. There was two different questions. One said, well, as you see, I'm plus size. I'm educated, and I'm an entrepreneur. And it seems like the people in my environment I'm being challenged by, because they don't support me in my endeavors. Instead of choosing to sit back and let life go at its own pace, I want to be in the front of it, embrace it all. What should I do? So Steve looks at her, I don't think it was 5 seconds, and says, well, you're seeing that because they're not your friends. They're showing you what they think and what they value your worth to be. And then he broke down the scenario. So this is what you do. He said, number one, go through your contacts. Been saying that for years. Because your contacts, because this right here is nothing but a tool. It is nothing but an invisible key to give access to others to your life by way of verbal communication. He said, look at your contacts. You have to be honest with yourself. Go through all your contacts and do the following. He said, the people that call you and got nothing going on with their life but want to waste your time, put a little black circle by their name. And then those people that seem a little 50-50, put a star by their name. And those people that you talk to that want only the best for you, and every time that you talk to them, it seems like they bring life to the room, to your environment, always tell you what you need, not depleting you or taking away from what you are, you put a check mark. Now, after you've already done that, look down at all your contacts right off the bat. Those with the little black circle or dark circle, delete them. Those people with the check mark that are 50-50, delete them too. Now, the difference between the people with the check marks compared to the people with the dark circle is this. See, the people with the dark circles have already told you through behavior and repetition that they just want to waste your time because they don't want to claim theirs. And they have no problem doing that. That's why you're seeing a repetitive behavior. That is who they are at this moment. Can people change? Every day. Now, you can choose to sit on the sideline, and then in the process, the price will be your time will be wasted. The people with the check mark that are 50-50, even though they have potential, even though they do see your value, because the commonality between all three is there is something about you that makes you unique, to the point they're willing to invest their time to reach out. So at a minimum, that's your validation that you are special. Now, but when it comes to those people with the 50-50, they got to figure it out. So with that, you have to give them the gift that they need. You have to get out of their way so that they can find their own. And in the process, that is a path that you should have been on all along. Lastly, the people with the check mark. The people that only want to see you smile. The people that only want for you to grow and be the best you that you can be. Because guess what? They're the living example of what you aspire. And what I mean is they're applying those same principles to their lives. But they also know that maybe they will not be able or afforded to see that smile. But they still want you to smile nonetheless. You keep them. Give them access. Because at a minimum, they value their time and they value yours. So let's bring this home. You'll come to understand when it comes to words, words are nothing but manifestations or symbolism of frequencies that are impact the spirit. And there are only two. The two frequencies that affect the spiritual body, the human life, the brain, even your feet, is love and fear. That is the duality that makes mankind and human nature exist. You got to decide which one you want to be on. And when you do, those emotional shackles, those distractions will give way. Just like Moses told that mountain to move, maybe that mountain was metaphorically a molehill, And that was just only required for you to go deeper within yourself to cognitively decide, because you can't go forward if you're standing still. That's for somebody. But I feel it, family. There's a lot of change going on, and I know you're feeling it too. And unfortunately, the devil's work is not done. You gotta bear with me, because what you're hearing is, yeah, Joe gonna wash his clothes too. But you've got some people that have already given up on life, and they want nothing more for you to give up on yours, because that's what defines what misery is about. And you got too much life to live because somebody doesn't want to live. And I gotta give credit where he's Steve Harvey on this one, because he shared something that his father said. And he said, his father told him, he said, my father had a 3rd grade education, but he would always drop jewels on him. He said that everybody that come with you can't go with you. That's why people come into your life, to be the example or the validation or the direction. It all depends on your perspective and your truth. So I said enough. Hope you guys have a great weekend. If you're feeling what I'm saying, thumbs up it, share this video. But you keep loving yourself. Your ship is about to come in. Your change is right there. All you got to do is acknowledge it, and it will manifest itself. And when it manifests itself, you got to claim it. You got to claim it. Now, granted, trade-off is going to be this. Not everybody is going to be happy for you. That's why maybe some people fall off. They just disappear out of your life. Maybe that is a challenge that they haven't mastered. And that could be envy, maybe not. But you continue to claim your life no matter what. Because just as you see them today, you're going to see them again. And your growth will be the personification of their mentality. Trust me when I tell you that. But you can't live life through your rearview mirror of your life. Take it in. Learn from it. That's what insight's about. Let it become your wisdom. And just like legendary group Soul to Soul, you keep on moving. You don't stop. Be blessed.